Hey, YouTube, Facebook, and all that, you know. Um, I've got something kind of new and cool. I think it's awesome. And just about 2 days ago, I think it was, um, I got a package in the mail, and it was my light kit and some perforated brakes from R2Hobbies. I got a comment from someone saying they were fake, but it was a high quality fake, and that's true. It's high quality, but it's not brand name. Like, if it'll work on an HPI, but it's not HPI made, so it's a lot cheaper for one, and for two, it's it's easy, and that's what's so convenient about it. But anyway, I installed it on my Ford F-150 Flareside, and it's right over there. And right now I have the drift wheels and homemade drift tires on it. If you haven't seen the homemade drift tires video, it's just an explanation of how to make them easily and how to make them look well made. Anyway, you can see that reflection there. That's actually a pretty high quality, in my opinion, for something that cost me like 25 cents. So I got those on all four wheels, and front and rear and all that good stuff. And one of the obvious things that you can see here is, I guess, the most obvious thing here is, first of all, their LEDs sticking out of the headlights, because this version didn't come with buckets. At the time I bought it, HPI wasn't selling it with buckets. I don't know if they do now, but anyway, yeah. And up on the roof, you'll see that there are crawler lights, which I didn't really need. I just thought they were kind of cool, and I figured if I have a truck, I might as well put them on there, even if it's not, an off-road truck. It doesn't have to be off-road to look cool with them. I mean, like, rally cars aren't always off-road use, but they have them, and they've just got 5 LEDs that go back into one hole, and they go inside the body. And in the back here, there are LEDs. There are 6 LEDs in the back total, and there are 4 on the front total, and then there are 5 on the roof. So yeah, 6, 5, 4, not really special. Anyway, the way I did the rear ones was there's one little strip of this tail light thing that's particularly cool, and it's just a little line on there, just a little strip that would be backup lights in the real world. But anyway, I just decided that I would get rid of that, so I just drilled 2 holes and then kind of shaved it out the rest of the way in the middle. And then there are 3 LEDs glued together, super glued together, and then super glued into the body. And I guess I'll start by just showing you what it looks like when I turn it on. And these LEDs at the front, these are angel eyes, and they look really bright from right there, but they're actually not that bright. That's actually not the brightest phase. What the heck was that? Anyway, you can see those crawler lights on the roof are pretty bright, and I guess it's more obvious on the one of them than the other, but I think that's just because there's some glue on that one. But anyway, from a distance, I guess you can kind of see that they're just little round things. I guess you can see it pretty obviously on this one, that it's blacked out in the center. And they're both like that. This one's just not as obvious, just because of the light situation in the camera and all that crap. Anyway, I have my remote here so I can show you all the stuff that it does, which is cool. It's got blinkers, which is pretty cool, I think. And considering there aren't any sort of light buckets, I think they look pretty good. Just I don't know why. I guess it's light. The light is kind of emitted from the inside, and it just happens to light the same yellow that's in the decal there, the headlamp decal. And yeah, those fog light deals are uber bright. But anyway, those aren't the only headlights. These are pointed towards the ground, and then these are pointed towards the ground. And that's all the headlights in the front of the vehicle. And I'm not planning on getting any more because the incredible amount of wires is hilarious. They give you like, I don't know, 10 feet of wire, which is a crud load. So anyway, the blinker is on the outside, and the brake light is next to it. It's in the middle. And if you're going forward and you hit it, your brake lights light up. You let go of it. That's that. They won't turn on. If you start going backwards after braking and releasing, you'll get your tail lights, as in your backup lights, and those are on the very inside. And I lined them up so they do shine pretty well. They look inconsistent on the camera. I can see looking at the screen here. But anyway, there's nothing that happens when you go forward. It just determines whether or not the brake lights come on or the backup lights. So if I'm holding forward right now and I let go of it, it doesn't do anything. But if I'm holding it and I immediately go to backwards, that activates the backup function in the motor, as in the brake function, which slows it down before backup, before backing up, or just simply works as a brake, depending on how you decide to use it. But as a drifter, I use it kind of as both. So yeah, if you're going forward, like so, and then you hit backwards, you'll get your brake lights, which kind of makes sense, obviously. If you're going backwards after not moving at all, like so, you'll get your backup lights. And if you turn it, you'll get your blinkers, and that's at the front and the back, obviously. What kind of blinkers would only be at one end of the vehicle? They're pretty well synced, I think. So, yeah. Unfortunately, one of my another of my motors did end up broken, which is quite disappointing. In my opinion, anyway. You can see that's flashing. That's because right now I'm adjusting the trim. The reason I'm doing that is because the trim on the vehicle is sensitive. So if you set your trim too far to one side, like right now, it's set all the way to the left. So the blinker is always on. So if you want them to be, if you want your wheels to be straightened out and you want your blinkers to work properly with this kit specifically, you need to adjust it based on the arm on the steering servo, which is on this side of the vehicle, inside there. And there's only one that you have to adjust, and you just adjust it accordingly, which is what I'll have to do. But yeah, it'll start to work even at the slightest movement, for the most part. You know, so it's pretty good, actually. Aside from the fact that in a real car you'd have a manual blinker, but for an RC car it does pretty well considering how limited your controls are, especially on this basic controller here. But yeah, I just thought that you guys would appreciate or like to see that, because I'm definitely very happy with it, and I would recommend it. And I'm going to try to keep this to be one of my shorter videos, but yeah, anyway, I'm getting a little radio interference, and I'm not quite sure why that is, but whatever. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. And the indicator set, which comes with what would be headlights, tail lights, and blinkers, but rather than do that headlight thing, because the headlights you'd have to plug into a separate thing to make them static. So I just got Angel Eyes, and the Angel Eyes are plugged in to the receiver directly. So they're powered by the receiver through the loop of power. So they're static. The crawler lights that are mounted on the roof there are plugged into the same box that the blinkers and brake lights and tail lights use, and that's really the only way you can do it, unless you want to cut the wires and do it yourself. But I wouldn't advise doing that, because that kind of takes away from the purpose of having them and having the box. But anyway, the box is pretty simple. You just have to, it comes with Y cables. You plug the Y cable into the receiver, into channel 1 and channel 2, and then you plug the other portion of the Y back into the servos and everything, and then you plug in the remaining end you plug it into the indicator control box thing, which on this it's mounted on the roof, and inside, obviously, it's not here. You can't see it there. That's just the wires. Anyway, yeah. So it's pretty simple. Once you do that, you just look at your wires and your LEDs and figure out which ones go where, and which ones light up which color when you do what with your controller, and it's pretty easy to figure out quick, and it comes with instructions. But I was thinking, and the guy that said it's like high quality fake stuff, he's right. It's high quality fake, but if you think of it, R2Hobbies is like the teenager of distribution. They don't sell the best stuff. They sell good stuff. But it's not the best stuff. But it's good enough. And the other part of it that makes them like a teenager is they often have crappy spelling, and they talk like teenagers. There's literally something on their site. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's very funny. It's talking about their warranty service and everything, which is actually a pretty good service, but in it, it's just worded like a teenager wrote it, which is kind of funny. So, like, one of them explains something about how you might not get a package, and if you're not getting your package on time, or if something's not there, their description says, "Roar!" I just thought, wow, that's really stupid, but you go through it, and it's actually a pretty good service. So the warranty service from R2Hobbies is good, and it is fake. It's not brand name, but it is good stuff. So I do suggest it, because it's not expensive. It's good stuff. It's not the best stuff, but it's sufficient. And in some cases, it may even offer more options. Like these Angel Eyes, I have never ever seen any sort of a radio controlled version of them until R2Hobbies. And the crawler kit, I've never seen one with LEDs. I've seen little like mock versions of them that you have to put your own LEDs into, but I've never seen one that comes with the LED, 3 different mounts, and the LEDs themselves, and it's pretty cool. And the whole order cost me $34, but I also bought something else. So really, the box itself is about $10. Which, if you're wondering why I'm pointing there, it's because, as I said, it's straight through there. It's attached to the roof with servo tape. These Angel Eyes are actually about $6 a pair, and I also got a Y cable so that I can use multiple lights plugged into the receiver for that loop. So if you take out the Angel Eyes and everything, the shipping for the box is really pretty reasonable. But I just like the way that this looks, and you can always buy more of these. And in fact, they have them in different colors. And this is silver. I don't know if you can quite tell that. You know what? I'll just turn it off for now. But well, you know what? Not quite yet. The Angel Eyes, what it is, they have a switch, and on that switch, you can change whether or not the inside of it is lit. And if I could find that switch, I would show you, but I cannot. Anyway, so they have a couple options, like blue outer ring, white in the center, and there's actually a second LED thing in there that lights up in the center. Which is cool. So they have one that's got blue around the outside and white, and then they've got the opposite. They've got one that's got red around the outside and then orange in the middle, which works really well for the back end if you don't want to go through with buying the full indicator box. And one of the other things that's cool about the indicator box is that it's pretty easy to to figure out, because they give you instructions. And in fact, here they are. And you get a little chart, and this chart will tell you how often it's turned on. So you have 8 different sockets that you can plug things into, and when you buy the box, it'll only have 4 sockets filled, and that's going to be your headlights, your tail lights, and your left blinkers and your right blinkers, and anyway, you can select through different versions of these, and each of them has like maybe a switch and various things like that. So your sockets, like some of them, for example, the socket 1 is static on but at half power. When moving forward, it's at full power. When moving backwards, it's at half power. Braking, half power. Turn left and turn right, half power. And I didn't do that. What I did with that is I used the opposite of that, which is socket 6, and what that does is it's pretty much the same thing, except rather than lighting up when you're going forward, it lights up when you're going backward, and that's how I managed to get the backup lights, was by putting it in that socket. And the reason I was able to do that was because I didn't want to use these LEDs here. I bought the Angel Eyes specifically for headlights so that I wouldn't have to do that. So now I get headlights, which, like in a real car, are constantly on, tail lights, which in a real car would always be on, and brake lights, which in a real car are only on when braking, just like in this, and backup lights, which are only on when backing up, and blinkers, which, like in a real car, are only on when you're turning. However, in a real car, of course, as I said, you do have complete manual control over that, rather than having to depend on it, which is actually a rather poor piece of technology, because in the real world, people forget to turn off their blinkers, and it pisses me off, first of all. And yeah, so it's pretty cool. And the box that I have here is not the only one. There are actually a few others. They have another one that's just made to scroll through different things. It'll flash and it'll do all kinds of stuff, and it's the only one that'll do that. But it comes with all kinds of lights, like for sirens, it'll come with red, white, and blue. And you can also buy other colors of LEDs from R2Hobbies and use them with that box, which I think is pretty awesome. So, yeah, I guess overall I'm just, stating my satisfaction of HPI and R2Hobbies. HPI for their durability, R2Hobbies for their reliability and their cost-effective standard, and all other companies that go into that thing. Like for me, it's Dynamite RC, Traxxas, Dynamite RC, Traxxas, R2Hobbies, HPI. It's probably got a couple other things in there, but I can't think of them right now. But yeah, I'd just like to say thanks for watching, and I would suggest that you get this stuff. And if you think fake means bad, don't. Fake isn't necessarily bad. It's kind of like an imposter. It's not bad imposter. It's just a cheaper imposter. So it may not, the LEDs might not be as bright, but they're definitely sufficient. I mean, if you're driving at night, you don't need to have blaring headlights equivalent of those of a real car. And if you do, you need to move to somewhere with more light, or I don't know what else, I guess, because I can't imagine. Pitch black is as dark as it gets, okay? And this is all you need. That's all you need. All you need is headlights, and you can see. And the good thing about the headlights is you can adjust them, you know. You drill holes in the thing, and you can adjust them. Or, you know, drill holes in the buckets for your lights. You can adjust them, you know, all kinds of stuff like that. So, you know, overall, I'm just stating my satisfaction. So, I guess, I'd like to say thanks to R2Hobbies, thanks to HPI and Dynamite RC. I guess I'd like to say thanks to Parma, Pactra PSE, or Parma PSE, actually, and Pactra Paints, because Pactra Paints is what I use to paint the body over there, and Parma is the brand of servo tape that I've been using, I think. Anyway, well, and they have pretty cool decals. Not that you can see a lot of them on this, but you know, yeah, I guess that's all I got to say for this time, guys. So thanks for watching. Congratulations again if you made it through this whole thing. It must be midnight and you must be freaking bored or drunk, which sucks for you, kind of, but whatever. Anyway, this is Blade Junkie signing off. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you later.